Recently, Samsung's come out of the new line, the Neo. Lower spec and more affordable variants of their flagships, and here on C4E Tech, we reviewed the Galaxy Note 3 Neo a little while ago. In this video, let's take a look at what exactly the differences are between the Galaxy Note 3 and the Galaxy Note 3 Neo. So if this is your first time here, or in case you've forgotten, my name's Ash and you're watching C4E Tech. Let's get started. At first glance, the Note 3 Neo resembles its older sibling, the Galaxy Note 3, in a lot of ways. They have similar faux leather plastic backs, similar button placements, IR blasters on top, but look closer and you'd find the differences. The gesture sensor on the front is absent on the Note 3 Neo, and so is the micro USB 3.0 port. Gone are the groove patterns on the sides, replaced by a more bland faux metal plastic. The Note 3 Neo is 0.3mm thicker but 2.8mm shorter and 1.8mm narrower and 5.5 grams lighter than the Galaxy Note 3. This can largely be attributed to Samsung trading away the 5.7-inch Full HD Super AMOLED display on the Note 3 for a 5.5-inch 720p Super AMOLED display on the Note 3 Neo. Yes, the resolution is lower, and the change in pixel density from 386 pixels per inch on the Note 3 to 267 pixels per inch on the Note 3 Neo is noticeable. But for the most part, the display is bright, has good color reproduction, great viewing angles, and even performs well outdoors under direct sunlight. Purists will actually be happy to hear that the display on the Note 3 Neo uses the full RGB matrix instead of the pentile matrix utilized by the Note 3. The S Pen on the Note 3 Neo is identical to the one on the Note 3. 1024 levels of pressure sensitivity can be popped in either way, it's exactly the same. Underneath the hood, the Galaxy Note 3 Neo is powered by the Exynos 5260 hexa-core chipset. This houses two Cortex-A15 cores clocked at 1.7 GHz each, 4 Cortex-A7 cores clocked at 1.3 GHz each, coupled with a Mali T624 GPU and 2 GB of RAM. The Note 3 on the other hand has two major variants. The non-LTE variant is powered by the Exynos 5420 octa-core chipset. 4 Cortex-A15 cores clocked at 1.9 GHz each, 4 Cortex-A7 cores clocked at 1.3 GHz each, coupled with a Mali T628 MP6 GPU and 3 GB of RAM. The major difference is that the Exynos 5620 on the Galaxy Note 3 has HMP or heterogeneous multiprocessing enabled, meaning it can run any combination of its 6 cores, including all 6 at the same time, whereas the Note 3 is limited to running either set of 4 cores at one time. Anyway, the Note 3 used in this video is the LTE variant that's powered by the Snapdragon 800 chipset, 4 2.3 GHz Cray 400 cores, an Adreno 330 GPU, and 3 GB of RAM. The benchmark scores of both Note 3 variants, the Exynos and the Snapdragon, are quite similar, give or take 10%, as evident from this video comparison that we did last year. So the Note 3 Neo does get pretty close to either Note 3 variant in terms of synthetic benchmarks. I guess that's largely due to HMP and having to push a fewer number of pixels. Now moving on to the camera, the Note 3 Neo houses an 8 megapixel rear shooter instead of the 13 megapixel shooter found on the Galaxy Note 3. Of course, it's not going to be quite as good, given that the Note 3 has arguably one of the best cameras on a smartphone to come out in 2013. But the Note 3 Neo does quite well. The pictures are crisp, colors are natural, and of course the level of detail is not as good as the Note 3, but on its own, it's a good camera. It's also worth noting that the Note 3 Neo can't shoot 4K video, while the Snapdragon variant of the Galaxy Note 3 can. Anyway, moving on to storage and battery life, the Note 3 Neo is available with only 16 GB of internal storage, whereas the Note 3 was largely sold with 32 GB on board. A 16 GB variant is available, and Samsung's 64 GB variants are like Bigfoot. Some believe they exist, but no one's seen one. Anyway, both phones can take microSD cards up to 64 GB. The battery on the Note 3 Neo is smaller by 100 mAh, 3100 mAh compared to 3200 mAh on the Note 3. But they do perform quite similarly. For example, while the Note 3 lasted for about 13 hours on a looping video playback test, the Note 3 Neo lasted about 12. That isn't a huge difference. In my experience, both phones lasted me through almost 2 days with moderate usage. Now moving on to software, the Note 3 Neo currently runs on Android 4.3 Jelly Bean with a promise of a KitKat update in the future. The Note 3, on the other hand, already runs on KitKat. Barring the KitKat features and gesture controls due to the omitted sensor, the software and functionality on both phones are pretty similar. Air Commands, Air View, S-Finder, S-Health, everything's there on the Note 3. In real-time usage, the Note 3 Neo from time to time does kinda remind you that it's not a flagship. Occasionally it drops a few frames, lags a bit, but fortunately enough, these issues are the exception rather than the norm. They are few and far between and shouldn't really bother the average user. So what's the bottom line? The Note 3 Neo, like I said in the review, when I originally saw the announcement, I felt it was a revamped Galaxy Note 2, albeit in a new shell. But for once, Samsung's proved me wrong. It performs closer to the Note 3 than the Note 2, but is priced close to the Note 2. That makes the Note 3 Neo a device that provides good value for your money. The Note 3 though is obviously the better performer since it's priced higher, but if you are limited by the amount you want to spend, the Note 3 Neo is not all that bad a device. So anyway, if you do want to pick up the Note 3 or the Note 3 Neo, you can do that from Amazon. I'll leave direct links right below the like button in the description. If you do have either of these phones and want to know more about the software, the tips and tricks, hidden features and everything else, I've got a video just for that. The links are annotated to the site. If you don't have annotations turned on, you can also find the link right below. So now that we're done, what do you guys think about the Note 3 Neo or the Neo line in general? Do you think that dilutes Samsung's brand value, or do you think it actually adds value by catering to a whole new demographic? I'd really like to know what you think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, which I guess you did since you've made it this far, please hit the thumbs up button, and to stay updated on my latest videos, make sure you subscribe. Anyway, I'll catch you guys soon in the next one. Till then, this is Ashia from C4E Tech signing off. You guys have a great day. Bye bye now.